Well, hello, YouTubers. Hey, I've got something in mind today for this stick, and I'm going to tell you, it's just the perfect candidate for what I'm wanting to do. I thought up the name for this walking stick is going to be the Man in the Moon. So you call it the Man in the Moon walking stick. Now, it's going to be kind of unusual because I'm not for sure how I'm going to do it. But anyway, I got the plans rolling in my head now. And if you stay tuned, we're going to do it. And I'm going to show you every step of the way how I do it. So stay tuned and let's get with it. Here's the middle of the block. Here's the middle of it going this way. I'm wanting the nose to come right down into there somewhere. And that'll be the center of the nose, right, if you're looking that way. We'll bring his nose down, let him kind of outline around like that. Eyes is going to be way back into here somewhere. Nose is going to go around something like that. I'll go around this way, back up into here. Just kind of sketching out here. That ain't gonna be too bad. All this sketching with the pencil, make this more rounded here. And this will come back like this. Okay, I think we about got what we want. Have my scrap block of cherry wood here. That's deep enough. And when we're ready, the walking stick top will go right in there. I'll try to keep it in the camera as much as possible, and I think that's a good area right there. Two sanders set up here, one 150 grit, the other one's 220. I have it marked about how far this head goes in here. That'll slide down to there, so I want to go up to that, just beyond that pencil mark, and go right on down. That's it for the 150 sanding right there. Now I'm going to go over that again with 120. And it'll be quicker going through it this time with the 120. And that will finish it off and be ready to put the stain on it. Okay, I have everything laid out here. Got my nice tablecloth, you see, which is a paper towel, but to me it's a tablecloth because it's on my table. Now look here, Minwax Golden Oak. We stirred a little bit with the screwdriver that I opened it with. Now, got my old rag here, and I just dip it and wipe it on. Just to bring the grain out just a little bit. And what I do is just wipe it off with a 440 to knock the fuzz off of it where it raised the grain, and then I put the finish on it. And I'll do that in a couple hours. You'll see after this dries. I don't know if you can see all the way to the tip of this stick or not, but the same thing. I'm going all the way to the bottom. Now I'm going to be done with this here just in a jiffy. Taking my wet cloth and going down and making sure it's on there pretty smooth. And what I'll do is balance it right there on a can. And that way it won't, and like I say, I balance it right there. Yeah, I thought I could do that. Now here you see me mixing an oversized amount of two-part A and B JB clear weld is what I use. I'm mixing a good amount of that, but I get it mixed up well. So when I want to secure two pieces of wood together, I usually use this epoxy. Now you could probably get by here with True Bond wood glue, and that will probably work just as well. But I like this 5-minute. It cures a lot faster than the wood glue, and it holds. I mean, there's nothing going to tear it apart. So I got that mixed pretty well, and the first thing you do is to make sure that your object, the face that I'm putting on top for a topper, make sure that it does fit on your stick. And then what I'm going to do is stand this up a little bit so I can pour this in the top of that. So I'm going to scrape that off. It's not one of them things where you have to smear it on both surfaces to get it to stick, and nothing like that. Get it on either surface, really. I just try to scrape off as much as I can. Wipe your sticky fingers off every chance you get. And then we'll stick it right on the stick just like that. Stick it right in there. And what you do then, I got a handful of not shavings but sawdust, and I'm going to pour it right in there and move it around. Now what I'm going to do is get a clean popsicle stick, tamp that down in there, and that will start to tighten it up around there. And this sawdust that I'm using is out of the cherry carving, True Bond or something like that. I'm mixing that with that sawdust. That fills in any small crevice that we have here, and then let it dry just a little bit. And that's going to really give a good transition between the stick and the head that you just glued on there. We'll let that dry, and then we'll go over this with sandpaper and get it all smoothed out again, and then we'll finish the whole thing. Okay, now it's time to put the finishing touches to this, and we're going to put on wipe-on poly. I've decided what it's going to be. Now, I did some finish sanding on this, is all I've done since you saw me here last. We have a transition here that just looks pretty solid all the way up the stick. So let's go ahead and see what this poly looks like. This is going to be clear right over the moon head there that I have. This does kind of resemble the man on the moon. You just have to kind of let the imagination go here for a while and say, well, that kind of looks like the man on the moon. Now, this is wipe-on poly. It's what I call wipe-on poly. It's actually just a water-based Minwax, and it's polyacrylic, and it says clear gloss. I use it the way it is right out of the can as a wipe-on poly. I'll take my gloves, show you what I mean by wiping it on. But I'm going to go hang it up now, and we'll take a look at it after it's dry, see if it needs another coat. Now we're going to get started tying the paracord here. This is going to be a simple wrap. You can take this loose very easily, and you'll have a solid rope. No glue, no nothing. To start with, we want to establish where we want our wrist strap to come out at. I want the wrist strap to come out here, so I want to get me long enough there that this end of it is going to come out the end of where I'm going to stop wrapping. So it's right in there somewhere. Leave you enough sticking out to get a hold of. We can trim it off later. And then I'm going to go down here and get this loop here. That's going to be sticking out for the wrist strap. That's going to be about 6 inches there. I'm going to go down and leave you another loop, and the other loop is going to be at the end, about the end of this, where this loop is, where the end of this string is right here. See there? Now you've got 2 loops that comes around laying together just like that right there. Now, I want you to take this one, and it'll wrap right over the top of all of them here and start right on down. It'll wrap again. It'll overlap that one to get you started. And now you got them all tied together just like that. Snug it up just a little bit and then twist your stick, start twisting it around, and you're going to get 1, 2, get 3 or 4 wraps around there and hold it pretty snug. And then we want to look, while holding it snug, we want this wrist strap to come out in the back of your stick. The back of it is right here. It's the back of the moon we're looking at here. So I want to twist that around till we get that around to where we want the wrist strap to come out of. If you wanted it to front, then twist it around to the front. But there is right about the back of it. So now all we do is keep on wrapping, and you can make sure that these 3 stays flat against the stick and don't separate. And we just go right on down. The end that you laid out first, the end that you're wrapping goes through the loop. The other end comes back the other direction. Both of them goes through that loop. Now you get a hold up here at your wrist strap and you pull, and that's going to close that knot. Before you get it too tight, go ahead and pull these around, especially this one, and that's going to pull that cord up under there. Get back and pull tight. Now you can take your a little screwdriver, and you see how that's trying to pull up, and that's kind of hard to break through there. Just pull, the other one's coming out. Take your little screwdriver, kind of help it like that. Pop it over that knot. Sometimes you have to do that, sometimes you don't. Now as you do that, keep pulling. Pull this up a little further. Now, pull that up on there. We'll pop over that knot again. Pull it, I'll pull it some more. That's up in there a good ways now. If we can just pull this up, let it pop over that knot. Push that down much as you can, and you'll get these where they lay in there pretty even around that knot. Now one loop is pulled back under the rope here. These 2 here, you can take your small end snips here and just cut it off as close as you can get it. As much as you can there. Now you can do 2 things. You can pull it further or just tuck it back up under there. And you can keep messing with this, and you can get that, there'll be a slight knot there, but that won't be too bad, too noticeable. And your wrist strap's all ready to go. It's already snugged under there. No knots, no nothing. So let's get the camera turned around now, and we will do a review of this stick and the final comments. Well, that's about it for another walking stick. Let's review what we did, make a few final comments. I call this my Man in the Moon walking stick. He's got some teeth there too if you want to look at him. But it's either, depends on how you want to look at it. It could be a waning moon or a waxing moon. So let's just say it's a Man in the Moon and let it go at that. But Let me know what you think about it in the comments. Give me a thumbs up if you like it for sure. And you see we got this little simple but fancy looking wrist strap here. And see how it comes out there with no knots, no nothing in it. It looks like that string has been, or that paracord has been tucked under there. And down here, it's tucked back up under here, and yet it's tight. Well, I showed you how to do that. It looks very impressive. If someone's looking at it, I'm sure they'll ask you, how in the world did you do that? Now, with that said, the wrist strap can easily be tightened by just put your arm in there and doing a few wraps like that. Take it out. There's no knots, no nothing. It is comes up to about my mouth, which is somewhere around 54 inches, 55 inches. But anyway, like I said before, if you like this, give me a thumbs up. And if you really liked it and want to see more of my videos, click that subscribe button. That'll help me out more than anything. And leave me a comment. And there's just one other thing I want to say, and that is, I'll see you in the next video.